Did you know that the legendary Holy Buddha was married to a princess named Yashodhara, and together they had a son named Rahula? Long ago, in 563 BCE, in the kingdom of Lumbini, Nepal, Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha, was born in the famous gardens of Lumbini. The destined soul of Siddhartha entered the world under the ethereal glow of the night moon. Born to King Suddhodana and Queen Maya, Siddhartha's arrival was marked by celestial prophecies foretelling two possible futures. According to the story, before his birth, his mother, the queen, had a dream of a white elephant offering her a lotus flower and then entering her body. When sages were consulted, they predicted that the queen would give birth to a son destined to become either a great ruler or a holy man. Within 10 months, as a tree lowered a branch to support her, a baby boy was born, emerging from her side. 7 days later, the queen passed away. The world is filled with pain and sorrow, the Buddha would one day teach. During his formative years, Siddhartha's father, apprehensive of the prophecy, went to great lengths to shield his son from suffering in the outside world. 3 lavish palaces were built to cocoon Siddhartha in a life of opulence, shielding him from the harsh realities of existence beyond the palace. Siddhartha indulged in a life of pure pleasure, where every whim was satisfied and every desire fulfilled. I wore the finest garments, ate the best foods, and was surrounded by beauty, Buddha later reflected on his life. At 16, his father, drawing him deeper into palace life, married him to his cousin, Princess Yashodhara. It wasn't long before they fell deeply in love. There's a story that during their honeymoon, which lasted about 10 years, they once rolled off the roof while making love, but landed safely in a bed of lotuses, oblivious to their fall. For 29 years, Siddhartha indulged in a life of pleasure until his son Rahula was born, and the shimmering bubble of his sheltered existence began to burst. Despite the king's efforts to keep Siddhartha ignorant of life's suffering, an irrepressible curiosity began to grow in the young prince, leading him to explore beyond the palace walls. On 4 separate occasions, Siddhartha ventured out and encountered profound revelations that would change his destiny. Disguised as a commoner, he once witnessed an elderly man struggling with age, his once agile movements now slow and labored. This sight struck Siddhartha, who had never seen the effects of aging, leading him to contemplate life's transient nature. On another journey, Siddhartha wandered into a village plagued by illness. The moans of the sick filled the air, and Siddhartha saw the suffering etched on their faces. Witnessing the fragility of the human body, he realized that health was fleeting, and suffering was an intrinsic part of existence. These encounters deeply impacted Siddhartha. Fate led Siddhartha to a funeral procession, where he saw a lifeless body surrounded by mourning loved ones. Never having witnessed death before, Siddhartha was confronted with the reality of mortality. This experience resonated deeply within him, prompting him to ponder the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death's embrace. On his final journey beyond the palace, Siddhartha encountered a wandering ascetic who radiated a serene aura, untouched by worldly attachments. Intrigued, Siddhartha approached the ascetic and engaged in conversation. The ascetic spoke of renunciation, the path to liberation, and the pursuit of spiritual truths, planting the seed of a new possibility within Siddhartha's mind. These 4 encounters became the catalyst for Siddhartha's internal quest. The juxtaposition of youth and old age, health and illness, life and death, and worldly attachment and spiritual detachment compelled Siddhartha to question the nature of existence. Fueled by an inner fire, he embarked on a journey that would lead to profound insights. Driven by the quest for understanding, Siddhartha renounced his royal privileges, bidding farewell to his wife, his son, and the comforts of the palace. He ventured into the wilderness, embracing a life of extreme asceticism for 6 years, surviving on meager roots, fruits, and raw food in his pursuit of enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. In Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha entered deep meditation under the Bodhi tree. As the sun set, the light of enlightenment bathed him, and Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one. The realization of the 4 noble truths unfolded, revealing the nature of suffering, its origin, cessation, and the path to liberation. Buddha's journey to enlightenment had reached its peak. Contrary to popular depictions of Buddha as overweight, he was a slim, contented man. After gaining enlightenment, Buddha did not return to a life of indulgence, but embraced a life of moderation, regularly fasting and traveling extensively to share his newfound wisdom. His teachings, encapsulated in the Dharma, emphasized what is known as the middle way. Throughout his travels, the Buddha encountered various individuals, each contributing to the rich tapestry of his teachings. One famous encounter was with Angulimala, a murderous bandit who underwent a radical transformation through the Buddha's compassion. This story raises ethical questions about violence and transformation, emphasizing restorative justice over retribution. The Buddha's family, once distant due to his renunciation, later converged with his monastic community. His son Rahula became the youngest monk, and his cousin Ananda joined the monastic fold. These familial ties added a unique dimension to the Buddha's life and journey as he traversed the Indian subcontinent, spreading his teachings. As the Buddha's teachings spread, they evolved into two main branches, Theravada and Mahayana. In 483 BCE, at the age of 80, with his final breath, the Buddha urged his followers to strive for their own salvation, emphasizing the impermanence of the world. He was cremated, and his ashes were spread among his followers, leaving behind a timeless legacy. Siddhartha Gautama, the prince-turned-sage, continues to be a beacon for those seeking self-discovery and enlightenment. His teachings persist as a profound path to awakening, offering guidance to all who embark on the journey. Buddhism, as a practice, has spread worldwide, emphasizing the Buddha as an ideal spiritual teacher rather than a deity.